As you see, I have a tattoo, and it's one that I've had for 5 years. And I never really liked it. I've had it redone, and it just doesn't look right. And most people think it's a bruise. So what I want to do, and I've tried different things to no avail, I'd like to get it faded out enough to where it's not noticeable and can be easily touched up with maybe a dab of makeup. But concealing it isn't the best idea, although it's better than the way I have it. And the skin does start to wrinkle more, and it shows that in that area. So if you have a tattoo in that area, you expect that that's going to happen, unless you have really, really thick skin. I'm one of those people, but it's the sun will wrinkle your skin, especially on your arms. So that's just normal. Okay, I'm going to try something. Okay, hi there. I'm Nicole Lee, Health, Beauty, and More, and I've been trying to fade that tattoo for about 3 or 4 years. Every now and then I'll try some salibration, which is you take salt, and what I used was a SOS pad, not the one with soap in it though, just steel wool. And that's painful, but you can scrub it with a little water added on there, moisten the SOS or your arm and scrub it. But eventually what happens is you get little cuts, little prick points, and maybe just a tiny bit of damage goes into the skin and little tiny scabs. And then when it heals, you'll see a slight bit of fading. But we're talking about ink that's down into the dermal layer of the skin, which is pretty deep. It's at the bottom of, well, way below the epidermis. So that's deep, and to get to that is a trick. And I have tried products that were supposed to be guaranteed to eliminate and fade tattoos. On me, they did not work. My tattoo's 5 years old. So I'm going to do some laboratory experimentation here, and I've already done a little bit, and I'll be right there. Now, this stuff is just an experiment of taking activated charcoal, and I thought activated charcoal is something that people use to put on venom, like if you get an insect bite and it draws out the poison. So I thought, maybe it'll draw out the ink. And I put the activated charcoal and actually mixed in a couple of, 1 tablet of Alka-Seltzer. And the reason I used Alka-Seltzer is because, for one thing, the alkaloids are acidic, and the salicylic acid in it is supposed to help fade out things like marks on your skin. And I thought maybe it'll work. And I happened to have the Alka-Seltzer, and it made a good consistency. And then I added a little bit of water with a tiny bit of vinegar in it from this spray bottle, and it foamed up and made a nice thick paste. And I put it on the arm to try to fade out a tattoo, but I only left it on about 15 minutes, and I don't think that it did anything visibly that I can tell. So that's the first one. And then I'm looking at some other things like Vicks Vapor Rub. I'm looking at maybe using hydrogen peroxide, because that does fade and discolor hair, so it might have some effect on our skin. And I don't want to use anything with bleach, because if you add bleach to anything, you could have a bomb. You could blow up your arm, and I don't want that. So I'm very conscious about putting anything really caustic on my arm. I don't want to lose what I have. I like the hardware that God gave me. And then I have here another thing that's witch hazel. It's an astringent, and that would be good for cleaning and conditioning the pores before you put anything on. It's good for the skin anyway. So I'm going to set aside the charcoal. I have some of these cotton rounds that you can get at a dollar store anywhere. Even drugstores have them. They look like this, soft cotton pads. I have some just regular, it's not tap water, but it's purified water here if I need water. And I have this dish here with 2 ground up aspirins. The reason I used that is because it has salicylic acid, which is good for fading things like tattoos. And that's what some people say anyway, and I haven't tried that. But there is a product that I looked up called Clean and Clear astringent that someone did a video on, and I looked at the ingredient, and the main one in there was salicylic acid. So I took the salicylic acid from the aspirin, ground it up as best I could, put it in here, and I've got my little science lab here going so we can see what to do next. Now I'm going to have to liquefy this into some way to make it pasty, so I'll take my spoon and put a little water in that dish and mix it up so it has some liquidity in there, so it'll dab on and spread, and put it on the tattoo area where I'm trying to fade out. So that's one thing. I have a feeling that any of these techniques that I do are going to take repeated efforts over time, and it's not like the one that I saw on Clean and Clear astringent. The lady said, "Oh, it's fading right away," and I thought that doesn't make sense to me, because these things don't happen over 2 minutes. When you've been living with something for years and years, you know it's going to be, even any professional treatment like laser, it's not going to go away in 2 minutes with a laser treatment. They'll have you come back and spend another $200 or $300 and probably have you come back 6 times to fade it out, and it might work 80%, I don't know. But if you even get it down to that much, it's so much easier to cover something with a light amount of like Dermablend or tattoo. Doesn't even have to be tattoo concealer. It could be any kind of skin concealer for that matter. So these are things that I want to try. So let's start off with the salicylic acid. It might burn a little bit, and I already cleaned my arm. Put it on here and dab it on. And see if that draws out any of the ink. What I do is I keep an eye on the coloring of the sponge, the white well, they're not sponges, they're cotton pads, cotton rounds, just to see if I see any discoloration. Make sure your arm doesn't have anything on there that would have color on it, otherwise it might look like you're drawing out some color from the ink. So I'm just going to leave that on there and see if that does anything. And if it doesn't, then I'll go to step 2. And when I'm done, if I do find my skin is sore, I'm going to take some aloe vera and rub that on there like you would if you had a sunburn. So if you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. I'll get back to you and see if any of these things are helpful. And take care. Bye-bye now. It's Nicole Lee, Health, Beauty, and More. And feel free to subscribe, reply, and share. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Hello, we're back again, and I've left this on with the salicylic acid. In fact, actually added a little bit of Vicks Vapor Rub in there because the consistency with water wasn't quite what I wanted, so I put that in there because it has that the right consistency that you can rub it on. As you know, Vicks is very easy to rub on the skin. So let's go ahead and take this off and test and check and see if anything's going on here. I'll take the witch hazel, this one's Dickinson's, and just wipe off. I don't see anything coming off on the cotton round at all. Looks about as good as it did before, maybe a little smoother, but not any faded. Not faded at all. So that means either it's going to take several treatments or that may not be strong enough. So we'll try something else next. Your mad scientist is back again, and I'm ready to try something new. Taking a lot of risks here, aren't we? Now this is hydrogen peroxide in here. That's all that's in there. And the other thing that I made up earlier, I talked about, was the activated charcoal with this Alka-Seltzer. The alkaloids are basic, I don't know why I said acidic. They are basic, so it kind of neutralizes the effect of the pH when you add salicylic acid. So that's why it goes down so easy when your upset stomach is bugging you and you take Alka-Seltzer and you don't get that burn. So what I'll do is I'll add some of this mixture into the hydrogen peroxide and start mixing that up. And it's very liquid, so I want to get it thicker than that. So I'm going to have to be very smart on what I use, and I think what I'll do is I'll get some cornstarch and I'll be right back. Okay, I added some Kingsford's cornstarch. I had to put about 4 teaspoons of it. Instead of being black, now it's gray. It still has the slip in it, but it's thicker, so that I can use the cotton round and apply it. So I will try that, and I'll be back and let you know after a while what happened. Okay, I'm going to wipe that crusty stuff off there. It's been on there for probably 20 minutes or so. And I'm going to take the witch hazel to clean it off, cotton round, see what happens. All I can tell you is the black stuff from the charcoal is the only thing coming off on the cotton round, and the actual visibility of the tattoo has not changed. So not really any success today, but then I'm not giving up. If you have any comments, please let me know what you think will help me fade my tattoo, other than having to conceal it when I don't want it to show. Thank you for watching. This is Nicole Lee, Health, Beauty, and More, and please subscribe.